Hello, people. I am Jaby Koay, joined by Rachel McDermott, as I get louder to get your attention and wake you up. And so we're looking at Scoopwhoop, if adulting was taught in school. Thank you, Scoopwhoop, for allowing us to react to this. Very, very much appreciate it. Very much looking forward to this. Because I think that some adulting needs to be taught in school. Not enough is. Especially in this day and age with internet interactions, like social, etiquette on the internet. Internet etiquette, I think, needs to be taught in school. How to do your taxes. Basic things in life need to be taught, which they're not. I mean, those things.
I can play the recorder, hot cross buns.
That helps when you're on the corner. Just kidding.
50 रुपए का भैया 50 रुपए का भैया ऐसे बात नहीं एनर्जी से बोलो 50 रुपए का भैया 50 रुपए का भैया और हम तो रेगुलर कस्टमर हैं रेगुलर कस्टमर आप कॉन्फिडेंस से बोलो बाजू वाली दुकान में तो 25 का मिल रहा है बाजू वाली दुकान में तो 25 का मिल रहा है ठीक है फिर मैं जा रही हूँ ठीक है चलो भैया ना आपकी ना मेरी
They all left.
भैया आप तो नाराज ही हो गए तेरा जूम कैमरा कितना ग्रेनी है यार हाई-रेज वाला फोन लेना
शादी है क्या हर साल नया फोन लूं
खरीदने के लिए तुझे कौन बोल रहा है मैंने खुद रेंटो से फोन रेंट किया है
Oh, this is what we need here in the States. This is exactly what we need, is the ability to rent a phone.
I thought it was an ad.
Oh, it is.
हाँ तो मैं क्या कह रहा था होमवर्क किया सबने
यस सर
क्या करना था
रेंट एंड इलेक्ट्रिसिटी
और क्या नहीं करना था
ऑनलाइन शॉपिंग
उधर रहे हो फाइनली सम प्रोग्रेस तो मैं क्या कह रहा था कि अगर हम लोग आगे जाते हैं और व्हाट डू वी हैव हियर क्या नाम है तुम्हारा अभिनव होमवर्क क्या बेटा तूने
हाँ सर किया
तो फिर ये कैसे है कहाँ से ये जूते
सेल था आई कुडंट रेजिस्ट
वही तो प्रॉब्लम है कंसंट्रेशन की बस कुछ अच्छा लगा खरीद लिया ये नहीं सोचते भाई मेरी औकात है Do I need this? No. माँ बाप से पैसे लो, दोस्तों से पैसे लो, क्योंकि रिटर्न तो किसको नहीं करने ना भाई। ई-कॉमर्स की वेबसाइट से चाय की टपरी तक सब उधर ही पे चलता है।
The subtitle of guys like saying I'm having an existential crisis.
मैं पैसा दे पहले 100 रुपया दिया था वापस
That's it for today.
Sir, one question, sir.
Sir, when do you exactly file for your tax returns?
Yeah, सिखा था ना last time.
16 and form 12 में difference क्या है? Which one you fill first?
Considering his career.
Sir, अगर मैंने IT returns file नहीं किया तो क्या आएगा?
नहीं फाइल एक सेकंड मैं बताता हूँ बेल बजा क्या बेल बजा
कुछ नहीं किया नहीं
हाँ ये रहे देखो इसने जब से नया फोन लिया है ना अंजलि को इम्प्रेस कर सुनना इसने 8 महीने पहले ही नया फोन लिया था
वो लेगा क्योंकि वो स्मार्ट और तो बुद्धू है
कैसे
अरे उसने अपना फोन रेंटो मुझसे रेंट किया है यार he can upgrade his phone whenever he wants to तू कर सकता है क्या
तो फिर ये एडल्ट ऑफ द ईयर बनेगा क्या
तू बनने दे ना तू है ना अपना आशिक ऑफ द ईयर हैं
What?
आपका प्राइस टेस्ट है माय फेवरेट स्टूडेंट थैंक यू मैम खड़े हो जाओ सबके सब सिंपल है जो सही जवाब देगा वो बैठ जाएगा ठीक है सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन घर कब साफ करते हैं
जब मम्मी घर आती है
अच्छा स्टैंड अप यू
अरे मैम दिवाली पे
अच्छा एक काम करो तुम दोनों क्लास के बाहर मिलो मेरे को दिवाली मनाते हैं आई नो आंसर झाड़ू रोज पोछा रोज डस्टिंग वंस अ वीक वेरी गुड सिट डाउन प्रांजलि तो अगले सवाल का जवाब राहुल देगा तो बताओ सिगरेट के बट्स कहाँ फेंकते हैं राहुल
बालकनी नहीं एक्चुअली बालकनी में नहीं फेंकते हैं स्ट्रॉन्ग एस्टर में कैन करते हैं
स्मार्ट ना
थैंक यू मैम
पर ये तो ट्रिक क्वेश्चन था। अब हम पता क्या करेंगे? अब हम पापा को बताएंगे कि उनका बेटा स्मोकिंग करता है। Give me your phone. Let me talk to your father personally.
Ma'am. Hello.
So, what are the situations in which you guys have to make small talk?
So, meeting in class.
सर बॉस के साथ लिफ्ट में फंस जाना।
Correct.
सर बम्पिंग इनटू योर एक्स।
Oh, good. But क्या तुम्हें पता है ऐसे सिचुएशन में करते क्या है?
Sir. हाँ. Simple है. Pretend करो कि फोन आ गया. Like.
करेक्ट।
No, that's actually wrong. ठीक है? Because it's a very simple rule. It's called the rule of 3 W's. First W. What is the weather like today? Beautiful. Second, what are your plans for the weekend? Huh? Third W. Well, I'm sorry, but I've got to go. ठीक है? Confused लग रहे हो तुम लोग थोड़ा? हाँ? थोड़ा confusion? हाँ? Don't worry, I'll give you an example. हाँ? Yeah. प्रतीक, सर आओ ना अंदर.
हाँ विष्णु सर
सर अंदर आओ.
हाँ चलो जाते
प्रतीक सर को जानते हो ना तुम लोग? So Pratik sir, what is the weather like today?
ठीक लग रहा है, थोड़ा बारिश है।
And Pratik sir, what are your plans this weekend?
वीकेंड में मेरे को क्या था कि मैं संजय सर को बोला तू गाड़ी निकाल अपन गोवा जाते हैं। सिंपल है, तू गाड़ी निकाल मैं पैसा देता हूँ अपन गोवा जाते हैं।
I was gonna say,
हमें बच्चे अच्छे लगते हैं, adults नहीं।
इसके लिए आज ही rentomotion.com पे जाओ और लेटेस्ट टेक्नोलॉजी वाला फोन रेंट करो।
And if you like this video, then don't forget to share it with your useless adult friends.
And also,
Like, share and subscribe to Scoopwhoop.
some of those things I agree with. Some of them, the last one in particular, I don't know that I agreed with. I feel I still stand by what I said earlier, which is I feel like we need a genuine version of this in school that teaches ethics for moving from adolescent into adulthood. I don't think that we have that. And so on the real, like, we need that. We barely have funding for what is currently there. You know, maybe in a private institution, private schools, it'd be different. Like, you can integrate some of that stuff. You vote with your dollar. I don't know.
I know I learned a lot of like structure just because I was in sports growing up. So there was that teamwork, but you also just learned structure there. And then working from a young age, I started working when it was illegal in New York, but I was 12 years old, like bussing tables, and then worked in a deli.
That's not, but that's a very East Coast thing. Are you from New York?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a very East Coast thing because someone else I know started working when she was 11 for her uncle's restaurant.
So just learning to be around people and being in hospitality or just in general working and having that ethic, but then having to be forced to talk to people all the time. I felt like I learned so much, but I remember friends of mine in college who didn't have those experiences and were a little lost. So, I mean, I'm lost now, but...
No, but what you're saying is actually very fascinating insofar as I can relate to it. Because when I was in high school, I was very eager to get out of high school. I hated it. It felt to me like a prison camp. It was just there to babysit you. It wasn't really moving you forward in life. Because I already had a clear sense as to what I wanted to do with my time in my life. I felt like I was just delaying that part of what I wanted to do. I was always looking for a way to get out, and one thing I found out was I could take night college classes. I was going to the local community college, Valley College, where I was taking classes in the evening, and what that allowed me to do was take fewer classes during the day in high school. What that also enabled me to do is interact with grown-ups all the time. So that coupled with martial arts, where I was in the adult class from a young age for a very interesting reason, which I'll get into in a second, I was always around adults. And that taught me how to interact like an adult from the time I was like 12, 13 years old. And so I've just been this dude since 12 or 13 years old.
He's never gone past that 12, 13 peak.
I feel like I was actually probably more of an adult in my former years than I am now. I think I'm more of a kid now, making up for all that time that I wasn't a kid. I think you're sort of maybe experiencing the same thing where you're like, I'm gonna be lost. That sounds like fun.
What did you call it earlier? A fun
employment?
Fun employment?
Yeah, I didn't make that up. That was the writer I ran into at the Star Wars screening who made that up. The reason I ended up in the adult class instead of the kids class for martial arts was I was sparring. Most people who go into martial arts love sparring.
Which martial arts were
Taekwondo and Hapkido. And so for me, I was always apprehensive about sparring because I didn't want to hurt anybody. I didn't want to get hurt, but like, it was one of those things that I was conflicted about. Anyway, if I was up against someone who I thought was gonna mess me up, I would go extra hard just out of pure fear. I get lined up with this kid who is apparently like this Russian diplomat's son, like someone who's really important. So in my brain, I'm like, this guy must be amazing and he's gonna fuck me up. So I go extra hard on him. My teacher's like, you need to go to the adult class. You're too much for this class. I'm like, but he was gonna destroy me.
He's gonna have to go up to his level.
Yeah, but I like sent him across the floor by accident. I'm like, I was just scared. I didn't want to get hurt.
I didn't know what to do. You just destroyed him, so you need to advance.
You need to
Stop.
leave.
Get away from the children.
Exactly. There was interesting stuff in here, but it sort of got away from the consistency of like endowing something upon. It's not an easy joke to sustain.
I like the idea of it, yeah.
Yeah, it's not an easy joke to sustain, and I think I realized that as the video was wrapping up.
ऐसे bargaining करोगे? Energy से बोलो. 50 रुपए का भैया.
Very first one about how to negotiate. This is something that I feel like a lot of people don't even realize. And if everyone employed these tactics, maybe it would not work as effectively. I tried it out in Mexico and in India, and it's the only way you can negotiate is the willingness to walk away. If you show that you don't need it, then they're gonna call you back. And it's just like, that's just part of the programming of deal making.
But that's life in general.
Yeah.
I don't need you. And you're like, but come back.
I hate that. I hate that so much. It was basically, equating people to cats. If a cat has string in front of it, it won't play with it. If there's something pulling on the string, the cat suddenly is interested and wants to play. And so it's a fascinating thing. I don't know how that applies. That's food for thought for you guys to deal with. Let's talk about the ad that funded this video to begin with. I think that we're at the point that we need this because phones keep changing so often and we often feel glued to...
Wasn't it the leasing? Do we have that here?
What we have is the always upgrade thing. Like every year you can upgrade your phone, but you can't upgrade it in 3 months or 6 months or 8 months. It's every year. The only way to switch from one phone to another brand is to complete, like, is if you're a baller and you have the money to keep this and buy this one over here, or
pay the fee.
Or maybe sell it for 50% off. And that's all a big hassle. But if you had a rental thing, that'd be amazing because I would love to experience what it's like to be a Samsung user without the commitment of being a Samsung user if I don't like it.
I don't even want to tell you that I have a 6.
That's okay. I mean, that's cool.
That's cool. What are they even up to now?
I'm more intrigued by the thing on the back of your phone, the El Rey. Like, how did you get that? Isn't that Robert Rodriguez's network, El Rey?
Yeah, I don't remember. It was one of the...
I'm just so cool. I do so many cool things. I don't know how
I don't even know.
I'm too cool to buy a new phone.
Pop socket.
It's the coolness factor that restricts me from buying new phones.
कहाँ से आए ये जूते?
Sale था.
Sale था.
I couldn't resist.
Couldn't resist.
I am that person.
What? Tell us.
Well, he said he couldn't pass up a sale, but in general, they were saying that you just buy because you need to have it or you want it. And for me, I'm like, yeah, I want that right now, and I'll get it.
Yeah.
I'm not extravagant with the things I have, and for the most part, I'm like, I don't need a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But when I do want something, I'm like, yeah, I'm getting it. I'll look for coupons, of course, but...
It's hard to ignore a sale. What I was taught by Skeeter, a good deal today is a good deal tomorrow. A good deal today is a good deal tomorrow. It will be there later on. Just be patient. You don't have to buy it today. So save your money. And you may realize you don't even need it. My teacher in one of my community college classes that I was referring to earlier said, if you have a Macy's card and you see a Macy's sale, the smartest thing to do is take your Macy's card and mail it to yourself. By the time it gets to you, the sale will be over and you won't have spent a bunch of money. It's hard to do things like that. It's the FOMO of shopping. Fear of missing out on a good deal.
To get all those stamps, that's a lot of stamps.
Instead of FOMO, it's FOMOGD. I don't know, forget it. That wasn't that funny. So,
Cut that out.
yeah, no, that'll stay there. Just to show that Jaby's not perfect. Neither are you.
अब हम पापा को बताएंगे कि उनका बेटा स्मोकिंग करता है. Give me your phone. Let me talk to your father personally.
Just to critique this a little bit, that's where this video started to lose me, was the smoking bit. I guess it's teaching you not to smoke, is the idea there. But like, she tricked him, and I'm not sure what the adult equivalent of that is. I think that's why it lost me, because it was hard for me to see the connection to being an adult and like a trick answer of some kind. When does that ever come up? I can tell you one instance where it's come up for Achara. So what happened was Achara's car was parked here, and her laptop was stolen out of her car while it was parked here. The insurance company didn't want to cover the cost because she's not on my insurance, but it was on my premises. So I thought, surely my rental insurance will cover it. They go, well, it's not your laptop. And I go, well, I paid for it, because I loaned her the money, basically. I bought it, and then
You can
she's
see
paying me
that
back.
it's- yeah.
And they're like, but it's hers. You bought it for her. The guy who was having this dialogue with me recorded the whole conversation so that I couldn't backtrack and be like, well, no, I paid for it. It's mine. Then they would catch me in a lie. You always have to be careful what you say. So I suppose there is an adulting equivalent. I just don't feel like it was clearly communicated. The adult equivalent is always be mindful of exactly what you're saying and how it could be misconstrued against you.
Wow, you're going deep into this. I just thought that they had cleaning the house and how you clean it, and then they're like, how do you clean up cigarettes? And it was a way to go into, I'm taking your phone and calling your dad to show the phone again for ad purposes.
Oh.
But
that too.
yours is way makes more sense and is a little bit more deep
Well,
as far as adulting.
My dad was a very paranoid individual, and he said the less people know about you, the better off you are. I still consider that saying all the time because I'll get excited, for instance, and I'll buy like camera gear or something or a lens. I think I'm a little bit different now, but I used to be very careful and conservative with who I share that information with because then they'd want to borrow it. And I'm like, I bought it for me. I didn't buy it so you could borrow it. I bought it so I could use it. But now it's like I'm the opposite and I'm trying to like help out everybody I can. I'm like, I bought this thing. Let's use it, you know.
मैं पैसा देता हूँ अपन गोवा जाते हैं
How to make small talk was the one that I thought was
Not
the
long
least helpful, and it came from the teacher who was just the least helpful in general because like when it came to the tax stuff, he had no
And
information.
he just left.
Yeah, so
Which made me laugh though because I feel like when it does come to taxes, even when I go to my accountant, I'm just kind of like asking questions. Even though I'm getting answers, I feel like none of it makes sense to me, and I'm like, okay, here's my money. It doesn't really.
so stupid.
Yeah. So I still don't understand what I can and can't write off in which form and this and that. Here you go. Here's my money.
It's all deliberately confusing to keep certain people gainfully employed. It's the way I look at it. If it wasn't confusing, then you wouldn't need your tax guy. It's that dumb, honestly, at the end of the day. I used to do tech support for a casting studio, and oftentimes the resolution to fix a problem was always the same. It was always something simple. And I'm like, how do you not know this? And I complained once to someone, and they're like, hey, their stupidity is keeping you employed. I'm like, oh, that's true.
That's true.
You know?
Like I keep on coming down here for the same thing, but
Yeah.
that's your job.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, you can't complain too much. Now that I'm thinking about it, the one that I disliked that took me off the rails was with the smoking thing is actually the one that's the most profound because you have to be careful about what you say. You just do, you know? Anyway, cool. I was looking for a sex joke and it just didn't come out of my mouth. I guess that's funny.
Yeah.
You guys,
I was like,
yeah. You guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. And thank you, Scoopwhoop, for allowing us to react to this. Very, very much appreciate it. And I don't know why I looked down just now. I just did. I'm looking at Scoopwhoop's lovely logo. And check out Rachel McDermott on the social media. And she's got an Instagram with some lovely stuff on there. And subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell icon so you get notified every time we drop another video. Check out our other reactions, reviews, short films, vlogs, interviews. I've lost count of everything I'm saying. Keep it real. Stay genuine. I'm Jaby Koay. This is
Rachel McDermott.
This is the final video that we're shooting. You gotta go out with a bang.
Oh, Rachel McDermott. I didn't know this was the final one. Okay, bye guys. Thank you. Peace out.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Me asking you for confidence just made you more nervous. Like, Rachel. God damn it! I forgot my own name. Jaby Koay. Peace out.